Okay, I'm in my 1997 3IDI. Figured I'd give a little tour now that I've finished my gauge setup. So here's from the driver's seat. You have the boost gauge over there. These gauges, they look nicer when they're lit up, but I have the motor apart, so I can't light them up right now. But there's the boost gauge, and then when you look over up here, here is the exhaust temp gauge, the trans temp gauge is in the middle, and then an oil pressure gauge. And then this mirror, it's a clip-on that's actually a backup camera that wires up through there into my gauge cluster, where then I hooked it up, ran wires all the way across, then down and under to the rear taillights. So when you put it in reverse, when I put it in reverse, the camera turns on in the middle there. It just like covers the middle of the mirror. It flips to the camera, and that runs the rear view, the backup camera. So for the gauge cluster, how I installed it, or what I did, I made a metal bracket. I don't know if you can really see it. You maybe see it in the back here a little bit. Yeah, you can see a little bit there. I made a metal bracket that's curved. Oh, focus. Come on. Oh, it's trying. But anyways, there's a V kind of bracket that I folded. I folded a piece of thin sheet metal, and then I tucked it behind the trim piece there. It's that long trim piece. I tucked it behind there, and then I bolted it in with screws and a nut on the back side. You can see a little bit there. And then, so that's how that hangs there. And then I had to drill a hole in my trim, and then I ran a grommet, and I ran all the wires down into the gauge cluster. And then they run across that way, down, and then they spread out to the motor and the transmission and the exhaust. And then I ran the power wire down this way, and then down to the fuse box down there. When you take the trim piece off up there, there's actually a nice screw spot, or I used the old screw spot that's up there to run my grounds. So if I have to take this apart, I'll do an updated video of all my wiring I did. But I just ran all my grounds to that one screw up there, and then I ran one thick 10 gauge power wire up here, and then inside the cluster, I ran all three of those gauges to that one wire. So it turns on when I start the truck. I wish I would have got a different trans gauge, because in the middle there, that gauge, you can't really see it unless it's lit up. So I have to have all my gauges come on right away, so I can't hook them up to the dimmer switch or the headlight switch, because they have to come on when the truck runs. That's the same with this gauge. You can't see it. As you can see, it's kind of dark in my garage. You can't see it. Even with a light on, you can barely see it. So it has to be lit up all the time. So that kind of stinks about these gauges, but they're cheap. They were like 20 bucks on Amazon a piece. So there's that. Yeah, so stay tuned. More custom work to come. I'm taking apart my door to fix the lock button. The actuator doesn't work over there, so I'm hoping to make a video on that. Plus, I'm going to spray sound dampening in there, some undercoating. That'll help keep the sound and the wind and stuff out and protect the inside. I'll also be replacing the speaker, so I'm hoping to do videos on that. I'll be hooking up a winch in the box of my truck. So just stay tuned. There's plenty of stuff to come. This is Rab's Garage. I hope you're enjoying.